but it wound up with Camden giving us various properties, some of which were just naturally suited by location to be cafes. One at 65 Kingsgate Road, I believe. Yeah, it was 65.
Michael very much brought a sort of an American aesthetic, the liking for bare brick, and that sort of delight in the Victoriana. And these were wonderful quality things, and they were at that time spurned.
It was named after Rosie Barnes, wasn't it? She was a wonderful cook.
She's the earth mother of the Kilburn Valley, provider of beautiful dishes of chips, corned beef hash balls, baking trays of apple tart and mince pie, with a huge tureen of brilliant yellow custard, a deep ultramarine band around the bowl.
It was a meeting place for people. I think Rosie's Cafe got quite famous.
We had the first meeting of the Kilburn Artists Register in the cafe on Thursday. It looked lovely, and it was great to have 14 people at the meeting, all enthusiastic and willing to work.
It was all community-run things, wasn't it? It was getting the Kingsgate Road more into a community of itself.
I was making movies all this time, Stanley, whatever, you know, and working on that magician film. I remember the apple crumble, I remember the wonderful food, the wonderful atmosphere, the community feeling there that is absolutely missed.
That had been a deli apparently. The first thing I remember about it was these gorgeous gas lamps on the wall. There was about 4 or 5 of them. I think at one stage it very much became the hub of Kingsgate. You had Kingsgate Studios, a couple of 100 yards. You had the Housing Association 2 doors down. I think people on Kingsgate used it as a meeting place. Very mixed clientele. We had a certain rock and roll star's brother who used to come in. And we had a South African gentleman who was profoundly deaf. Did a bit of signing, but he had his evening meal in there every evening.
West Hampstead Housing Association gave me short life flat, and Rosie's Cafe was just a few doors away. And to me, it was like a real neighbourhood hub. And I got to meet lots of people in there. And one day, then Mike, who started it, he offered me and my sister a few shifts. Suddenly became really quite good at cooking and organising. My friend Anne had a eclectic kind of hair salon called Lunatic Fringe, so we had quite a lot of her customers that came in. And then I met director Mary East, and I was only young, about 26 or 7, and she walked in and she said, "You're going to be my witch in Macbeth." So there was 3 witches, 1 Irish, 1 Spanish, and French, Julie French.
You know, I got on really well with Michael. Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and it was handy for me because I had the kids upstairs, which meant I could keep popping up and checking that they were okay. And they used to come in and eat after school, so it was a real bonus for me.
Those were the days.
Yeah, they were actually. There was a lot of optimism about, wasn't there, about things could change, and that was great. And I think, you know, working in the cafe, there was all these mixture of people going in, you know, with all these fantastic kind of quite radical ideas about changing the face of housing and stuff. It was quite a time to be around, actually. Yeah.
I was waiting to go to the Institute of Education and living literally just across the road, so I had time on my hands, and Rosie's was very much a focus of the community. And I just remember it as being a really happy, positive place to be. and you could get good quality food for a very reasonable price, so it was a natural meeting place.
There was some stuff downstairs in the basement, some cooking equipment. It was all pretty ancient. And me and another guy spent hours of labour scrubbing it all up. Michael was very, very pleased with it. He thought we'd done a great job. And I think it's a treat. You taught me how to make hamburgers. What I recall about Rosie's is more about people sitting down and talking about doing things in the community, activities in the community, organising things in the community, like things in Grange Park. Like campaigns against girls, we like public meetings here. So it showed that there was a different way, a way of making better use of those assets, a way of making community activity live. So it's very welcoming and very inclusive in not the easiest of communities because there were different groups.
There was the nursery in Grange Park, and we used to have a few events there, and there was Rosie's, until of course we did manage to get our hands on Kingsgate Community Centre.
I think Rosie's went bankrupt. Well, I was there that day, and I remember I was started to make soup in this giant saucepan, and this man came in and just started lifting all the saucepans out of the kitchen, and I said to him, what's happening, what's happening? He said, I'm from Campton Council, we're closing you down. And then Mike came and we all went home, and he dealt with it. And it was very sad because it was like the end of an era.